Okay, so at 6 minutes after 5 on February 19th, 2022, I will call welcome to the Redevelopment Commission of Bloomington, Indiana. Please start the meeting with a roll call of commissioners.
Deborah Meyerson, present.
C. Scambaluri, here.
Randy Cassidy, present.
John?
John West, present by Zoom.
Deb Hutton here, staff present.
Anna Hansen, hand. Christina Finlay, hand.
Larry Allen, legal department.
Jane Cooper Smith, economic development.
Any on Zoom?
Justin
McClellan, City Controller. Thanks. We'll
Sam Flainer, Monroe County School Corporation.
Thanks, Sam. First, we'll have on the agenda the minutes for February the 5th, 2024. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Deborah Meyerson will make a motion to approve the minutes of February 5th.
Second. I'll have first and second. We have someone on Zoom, so we'll vote by roll call.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
C. Scambaluri, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
Don?
John West, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes. Passes unanimously. Next item is examination of claims registers for February 16th, 2024 for $958,148.01. Any questions or comments from commissioners? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
The Habitat for Humanity come out 686. I take it that's just for what we'd put through the HUD monies. Fund
Are you asking a
251.
question of the staff to explain?
Please.
Do you know what page you're looking at?
Page 2 of 5. It's the Cottage Grove house. This is for construction of a new home on Cottage Grove.
Yes.
And that's through the HUD, through the home loan, home
It's
funds.
through the home partnership program.
Okay.
Any other questions from commissioners?
One more. Oh, when we get into our College Square utilities, is any of that, do we do lease back on that, or is that like on the fire department? Do they pay part of their own utilities or not?
They should be getting a bill for their own utilities. I could follow up on that. Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we gotta pay it, but
Right.
just curious.
As part of the other lease agreements, it gets charged back to the town.
Okay, so it's on a chargeback situation. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I got a question.
Sure.
This is probably old news, but I'm not sure what is VS Engineering doing?
Can you give us a line for the staff?
Yes, it's on page 3, 5409.
The 16,000. Yeah. There are so we're renovating 17th Street. And they are the construction inspection manager for that project. I can pull it up just shortly though and give you a better.
Larry, that's good enough.
Okay.
Other questions? Entertain a motion.
Randy Cassidy, I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Deborah Meyerson also.
John West, second.
Vote by roll call, please.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
C. Scambaluri, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John?
Yes.
Deb Hutton, yes. All in favor, passes unanimously. Next item is the examination of payroll registers for February 9th, 2024 for $33,254.79. Any questions or comments from commissioners? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Randy Cassidy, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second. C. Scambaluri. Thanks. All in favor, vote by roll call, please.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
C. Scambaluri, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John?
Yes.
And Deb Hutton, yes, passes unanimously. Now we'll have reports from officers and committees. A director's report.
One of the items I would like to just bring up is that we've had some water intrusion issues over at the 714 South Rogers Street building at the Hopewell location, not once but twice now, with the most recent one being last night. Yeah, so I just want to bring that to your attention. And we are working through the process in which whether we invest in mold mitigation and water intrusion cleanup or whether we move forward with demolition will be up to you guys. But you need to be aware that the costs of cleaning it up is rising every time we have an issue like this.
Was it small, medium, or large?
Large.
Thanks. Anything else?
And it's got to do with sprinklers, I'm assuming?
The first time was due to sprinklers. We had some unhoused break into the building, and it was back filling to the fire hydrant. They had turned on the water line froze and broke. It flooded the elevator shaft among other areas. And then last night was a water main break. We did have another intrusion. There was standing water in the building, and it was frozen the last time I heard. They did turn off the water at the main, but more to come. I don't think we're completely through all of our evaluations, but just to be aware it's on your radar. Thanks.
Another question?
Question in regards to that, because, last meeting I brought up how much we'd spent in security, et cetera, and what the demo cost is. We know what the demo cost is. Is that a correct statement?
It's pretty
based on-
significant. I can't remember the exact number, but it was around $400,000 to $500,000 to demolish the building.
Yeah, that's what I was, see if we could look at the costs.
Mm-hmm. And so we're probably looking at, it'll be more now, but the last time that we looked at it, it was probably going to be around $60,000 to fully mitigate the issues. The previous one, last night's occurrence, we haven't fully evaluated yet.
Is there any insight in terms of how security is managing this? Just because, how was the water intrusion detected in the sense that since it was based on a human intrusion that created the water intrusion, right?
We have moved to 24-hour security, but the security reports continue to pour in. That building in particular, I think since the beginning of January, I've received 9 incident reports for that location. So they're trying to get in there as best as possible.
Yeah. We're very fortunate at this point. All we've had is water damage, and we've not had any personnel issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question I would ask as board member and the security of that is, what do we have to do to get rid of the problem from a cost standpoint? Because at some point, you look at what the human capital is versus the fiscal capital.
So we'll wait for your report.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Legal?
I got a question.
Yep.
This may be for Larry. Larry, is the water on in that building pretty much just to keep the sprinkler system going?
Originally, it had been turned off, actually. We had drained down the sprinkler system. And so when the human intrusion that Anna mentioned, they broke open the valve, which is what caused the flooding. What we have been told is to fully turn off the water to the building would require us to go directly to the city main and cap it to the building, which potentially causes us to, if we do end up reusing the building, it's a fairly expensive thing to turn back on after we do that. It's expensive to turn off and cap it, and then it's expensive to turn it back on. So what we were trying to do is lock and secure that area of the building. So I guess we'll wait to see what the details are from this latest intrusion, whether that's human caused. Because one of the things we did do is put a lock on the valve, repair the valve, put a lock on the valve to at least act as a deterrent from anybody messing with it. But we had originally, when the building was we're trying to preserve it, we did have Corson come out and drain down the sprinkler system, as I recall, just to save it from freezing and to just busting on its own.
All right, thank you.
Is that all for commissioners for director's report? Legal?
I don't know. Just really briefly, since this is a question asked by the claims register and for the good of the order, so everybody knows what we're talking about. So Commissioner West just asked about VS Engineering. That was a contract approved kind of as amended in 2211 and then 2218 for the 17th Street reconstruction project. VS Engineering is acting as the construction inspection agent. That was a partially federally funded project, which the RDC provided the local match from. So that's being paid out as the local match, and there's some federal funding in that project as well. And I think we're getting fairly close to the completion of that project as we speak. But just so everybody's clear on what we're talking about. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks. Legal Larry. Treasurer's report.
Well, Commissioners, I am on Zoom. And I have a brief treasurer's report for you. The consolidated TIF fund balance and the RDC fund balance. The consolidated TIF fund balance is about $26.5 million. There's been a little activity in the fund in January for the Trades District Technology Center and Hopewell, and making some bond payments. And then the RDC fund has a balance of about 2.46 million. And I also wanted to tell you that I have talked to Anna about re-upping kind of a report to give to you every month about like what the status is on different projects that are going through the TIF fund. So we're going to be working together on that to get you something, and it'll be a work in progress. So feel free to make recommendations and requests as you see it, and we can get it where you like it, as soon as we can. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A question?
Yep.
Yes.
Jessica, of the 26.5, do you have any idea how much of that is committed, even though it hasn't been spent yet?
I know for Hopewell, about 5.9 million has been committed, but not spent yet. Then let me see here. We have other commitments, but not spent yet for multiple other projects, like in the Trades District, 17th Street reconstruction, Winslow Road resurfacing, and let's see, the Buzzard Chuming Theater. How about I get you those details?
Well, when you get the report that you're going to do on a monthly basis, we'll have that. So that's fine. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Jessica. Business development update.
Oh, I'm sorry. No update from ESD, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Is Deb on for a Hopewell update?
She does not appear to be on.
Don't see her.
I believe she's actually out, so I wouldn't expect to see her today.
Okay.
Oh, she sent an update though. Let me.
She did. Anna, was that the one that
She didn't send it to me.
I'll have it.
I have it actually. I can go through it. That's okay. Sorry. My apologies.
I've got it right here.
She
So-
didn't send it to me. Thank you.
Are you doing it, Larry, or do you want?
Yeah, I'm happy to read through it if you want to. We can.
Do you have it up?
I do.
Okay, go.
Okay, so just really quickly on the core building, Hopewell West is still undergoing its federal environmental review called an NEPA review associated with the use of home funds or HUD funds, and that's really tied to the core redevelopment, so the redevelopment of the core building. With Brinshore, that has not been completed, but we think it'll be completed fairly soon, just in terms of that environmental review. As you may recall, anytime we're going to use HUD funds, we have to do the federal process as opposed to just a standard phase 1, phase 2 environmental review. So this is a little bit more intense. And because we considered using HUD funds on the core building, HUD has aggregated Hopewell West as the project area. So the review is actually over the entire area of Hopewell West, not just the core building. So it takes a little bit more time. It's a little bit more comprehensive. We also continue coordination with the development team, which is led by Brinshore and the Bloomington Housing Authority through Summit Hill. And we're going to be presenting contracts with them to do the property transfer development. We anticipate having that for your approval in March of this year, so next month. And so we'll continue to negotiate those and have those something for you to review. In terms of the garage, we did receive preliminary findings for the garage study. They're being reviewed right now by members of staff, so parking staff and administration, being categorized for future consideration, just in terms of what are the must-haves, immediate kind of expenditures, maybe the intermediate kind of things that you can choose to add on, and then maybe longer term to get a good recommendation. We do believe the initial use for the garage will be residential. It would be really the core building whenever that's complete, which is estimated to be late 2025, 2026. So we have a little bit of time to figure this out, but it is something that we're going to try to maintain, but there are costs to obviously maintaining a parking garage that's been in a demolition site for quite a few years. So that's something we're working through. And then finally, just an update on Hopewell South demolition. That demolition has begun. It began maybe 2 weeks ago, is that right? 2 weeks ago. We estimate it would take 16 weeks fully. And 615 South 1st Street, which is a house which originally was going to be the construction management office, is currently on a 30-day hold, demolition hold from the Historic Preservation Commission to see if there are candidates who may want to buy or relocate that house, which are being, and it's going to be reviewed again in the next HPC meeting, as we understand, for their recommendations. And then additionally, as Anna already noted in her report, the issues with 714 South Rogers, we presented options to both the administration. We anticipate having some suggestion to you all very soon in terms of what that's going to look like, cost benefit of the various approaches, which include anything from renovation, demolition, boarding up, rehabilitation, which we just kind of discussed. So those are the Hopewell updates. My apologies for not having that ready immediately.
Thank you very much. Now for new business, the first item, Neighborhood Improvement Grant Council, RDC volunteer. Who can speak to us about that?
I will talk to you about that. Angela Van Roy could not be present this evening. Essentially, she needs a volunteer from the RDC for the Neighborhood Improvement Board. Essentially, it's a group of 5 people, 2 of which are from city staff, 2 from neighborhood associations, and 1 RDC member. They will help decide the funding recommendations for the neighborhood improvement grants. There will be 2 meetings to participate in that. The first one is going to be April 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. That is for presentations. And then the second one is going to be April 17th at 5 p.m. That's the work session to decide the funding amounts. But we do need to have an RDC member on that board. And I think maybe, has anyone served in that capacity previously? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, Sue and
So
I
you're
are
familiar.
volunteering for the consolidated plan review, so.
Right.
Any of the other
available
3?
on the 15th, so I wouldn't be able to participate this year.
Okay.
I'm in Seattle that week.
Okay.
I want to be getting my taxes done, but I'm in if you need me.
Last minute, huh?
Always.
You're willing to?
I'm willing to if you
Thank you.
need
Thank you,
somebody.
Randy.
Very much appreciated.
John? Sam?
Well, the whole world's doing their taxes that night.
Yes, Randy.
Okay, so you're willing to also, right?
I think we just need one.
Just need one.
Okay.
What? I didn't catch the dates. What was the dates?
April 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. for the presentations, and April 17th at 5 p.m. for a work session.
15.
But do we need John if we've got Randy?
No, I just wanted to
Just
offer-
one.
Yeah, I
Whoever
just wanted to
draws
offer
the
if John
short
wanted to.
straw.
Just clarification, at least for the 15th, that's also the date that the RDC meets.
I was concerned
Yes.
with that, but these meetings have already been advertised, and it was not our doing. So yes, we will have to be short. Or I can ask them to reschedule.
You guys don't need me. You're here, so.
Or one
Well, I
person,
won't-
if we're
In terms of
going-
having a quorum for that meeting.
You won't be.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
won't
going to
even
be
be
here,
here.
and it sounds like Sue's going to be out too, so.
Oh,
I'll be with, I'll have a 3-hour time difference basically, so.
okay.
So there'll just be 3 of us anyway, so if someone leaving early for that meeting, they'd have to be late for that meeting.
Yeah.
Stick with us.
Okay. Well, I can get with Angela Van Roy and try and work on the date issue.
What
And
time will that meeting be? Same time?
6 to 8 p.m.
Oh, we'll be done by 6.
It all
We
depends
start
on the
by-
agenda. Sometimes we go, not very many times, but there are times we go over. And all three of us would have to be in the room. We can't have anyone on Zoom that day.
Yeah.
To have a quorum.
Well, and Sam counts, so there's 4 if we're gonna be.
If we have a volunteer, then I can have Angela work the date issue. That is what she had scheduled and advertised. I'm sure that we could try and work on it, so.
I'm fine.
You're okay with that, Randy?
I'm fine with it.
Thank you very much.
And Randy, if you can't make it, I can make myself available. Just let me know.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
John, too.
Randy.
The first resolution in new business is number 2416. Approval of secondary plat for Hopewell East project. Who will speak to us about that?
You want me to, Larry?
I do.
Okay. So this resolution is to approve the secondary plat for Hopewell East, which you've already approved the primary plat, and essentially this formalizes the creation of all the public rights-of-way, the lots, and it has to be signed by all 4 of the property owners. So the RDC is a property owner, the city of Bloomington is a property owner, the Monroe County Commissioners, and Centerstone. So you're kind of step 1, although I believe Centerstone is close to signing as well. And then we'll get the other 2. And as soon as it's approved by the county auditor and recorded at the county recorder, this will finalize the plat that's been in the process for quite some time, which is in your packet. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have a question. Is there any, I couldn't really tell, is there any significant difference between this plat and the first one we've already approved?
Not a significant difference. We did go through, the various city department approvals. So there's some changing of the language of easements for utilities and things like that. But generally, everything is the same as the primary.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other commissioner questions?
The primary plat pretty much identified everything from the buildings that we've laid out in our master plan of Hopewell.
Yes, so this is the lots, not the buildings, but yes.
Right. All works. And then our greenway that we're looking here.
Yes, so there are parks parcels. The secondary plat doesn't show any of the improvements on the lots. It just shows the legal property lines. So that's what's shown.
Can I ask a question in terms of the lot 6? And my home printer only printed out part of it, the eastern part. But the section that's for lot 6, for example, the entirety of lot 6 will be a drainage easement. Does that also, in that space, north to south, include walkways for humans?
Yes.
So it's not, it is waterway drainage, but
Right.
there's the places for the sidewalks and that sort of stuff for humans,
Yes,
right?
that's all on
In
top.
addition, okay.
So the easement is just so utilities has access to the stormwater
Great.
detention, all that. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's where our detention's gonna be.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Any others? Comments from the public? Online? Seeing none, could I have an entertain a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second.
Having a first and a second, let's have a roll call to approve, please.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
Sue Scambolery, yes.
Randy Cassidy, yes.
John?
Yes.
Deb Hutton, yes. Motion carries unanimously. The next resolution is 2423, to authorize and execute, and I don't know if I'll pronounce this right, estoppel certificate regarding leased property. Who will speak to this?
I can speak to it. So as part of the development of what we now call the Morton Street Garage, originally called the Register Garage, the RDC and the city of Bloomington entered into a ground lease with the hotel that was part of that development. So this development had mixed use. The hotel, which is the Hilton Garden Inn right now, is part of that. They have a lease agreement which goes until 2053 with the RDC. And right now they're looking to refinance as part of their own, and this is just a certificate that kind of says Yep, we have a ground lease agreement with them for particular parking spaces. I think it's 35 parking spaces that are guaranteed to hotel guest residents. Of course, they can use more than that on a paid basis. And that there is some monetary value to it. Actually, under the terms of the lease started in 2004. This year, 2024, should be the first year that we receive a payment. December 2nd, 2024, we will receive a payment of a whopping $49 as negotiated under that lease agreement. So look for that in the coffers. But this certificate is fairly straightforward, which is just to say that it memorializes the fact that we agree that there's a lease agreement, we agree to the terms, so the lease agreement's added to it. I think the only difference, and you all have approved several of these, so I think going back to 2009, 2011, 2014, 2018, or 19, one of those two was the last time you may have seen one of these. The only difference is we just have some added language just to specifically reference the lease agreement itself, a particular term on the lease agreement, which is to say that if for some reason the hotel is unable to pay its financing obligation to the bank, we will allow the bank to step into the shoes of the hotel in this lease for the term of the lease, which is part of the original agreement. We just called that out in this particular estoppel certificate.
Okay. Quick question, just for my ignorance and the legal. What is an estoppel agreement?
So the reason why it's called a estoppel certificate is because it stops us as the third party to this transaction from claiming that there are different terms of the lease. So it just to say so we wouldn't be able to come in. So if Hilton Garden Inn, as they're refinancing, and it's a holding corporation, so I'm saying Hilton Garden Inn is shorthand, but the holding corporation is actually B Corp Select Raven Bloomington TRS LLC, so that's why I'm saying Hilton Garden Inn. Hilton Garden Inn, if they can't fulfill their end of the financing agreement, it prevents us from coming in and saying, well, no, they owed us significantly more than you realize under some secret handshake agreement. What it's saying is, this is the lease, this is the obligations, this is what they're allowed to have. That's it. And so it stops us from claiming anything any different. Okay. That's why it's used as estoppel.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the term was and thought
we have to figure out ways to get paid, so we just use weird terms.
So it's really for their benefit to get a loan from the bank.
It's for the bank's benefit. It's the bank's comfort to know that this is, exactly.
Other questions or comments from commissioners? Comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval of resolution 2423.
Second.
All in favor, do a roll call, please.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
Sue Scammelluri, yes.
Randy Casty, yes.
John?
Yes.
Deb Hutton, yes. Motion carries unanimously. That is the end of our new business. And what about general discussion or business? Anything from staff or commissioners? Or the public? With that, I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All done. Thank you very much.